I am just getting everything set up, so thank you for your patience, everybody. Hi, friends. Oh my gosh, you guys are waiting so patiently. Eek! I'm just kind of discombobulated this morning. Yes, you know what, you guys? I'm going to put your names on the list for sure. I'm just getting myself put together here. How do I want to do this? Welcome. I am so excited to have y'all. I have come to love the Sunday morning meetings because the questions are so interesting and the cards have been wonderful week to week, as those of you know who have been here. Testing, testing, testing. Oh, can y'all hear me? Oh, yay. Thank the technological angels of the world. I have no idea. I have no idea why that happened. Anyway, but I was talking about this doodling. This is called a breath blossom, and it's something that I could do right now to calm my little spirit after that technical error. But I did create a video that teaches how to do this, and I'll put a link in so I can share it with you because it's really important when you're manifesting to stay calm. And so, what a wonderful test for my patients to have that happen. So now Murphy is tuning in, so I'm sure you hear him too. I started off, I'm already shuffling the cards. We're going to focus on so let's take a vote with you guys here. Do you want to focus on love or money for today? Put a vote in, would you? Just with a comment, love or money. And you can't say both. It's not fair. Love, with love or money, Apple, which one? And I'm going to use the breath blossom, love and money. Oh, okay. Love. Okay, a couple of loves. We'll go with love. But if you needed, I'm going to use the petals of my flower to put your names in today. Now, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to everybody last week, or last time I did it, um, I ran out of time before I ran out of people. So I will promise you that I want love but need money. Aw, but you know what though? Um, isn't it true that if you're going through like a vacation from money, so let's just say it's that vacation's money's taken a vacation away from you, how that wasn't very kind. And so now you need more of it. You can't figure out how to get any, right? But it's a lot easier to go through that if you have someone to love, right? So, okay, so I'm going to write names down and, oh, okay. All right, I'm going to write names down, but I can't do everything as you guys saw when I had my sound problems. But I will write names down as they show up as I see them. If you have not heard your name, don't be afraid to pop it back in there, and we'll see what we're going to do. And we're starting off with Kiwi, and then we're going to do Graham, and then Apple. So, and then Sandra, let me pop you in there. So that's what I'll do first, and then as you guys put your names in for these readings this morning, I will do my my level blessed. Oh, nice slip of the tongue. I'll do my level blessed to throw um, a card just for you. Okay. Okay, universe, what do we have? Thank you guys. Oh, it's 11 minutes in. I haven't even pulled a card yet. Vanessa, good morning. We had some sound issues this morning. That's why we're a little late. Okay, I spread the cards. You see my little stones up here. I do put readings out for the various astrological signs occasionally, but I also put out a daily card. Every day there's a card. So if you'd like to see what the cards are for yourself on the daily, that's kind of fun. So join in by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Okay, so Kiwi, when it comes to love, what do we have? Oh, I would love to talk to you, Vanessa. Just shoot me an email. My email is in tarot info, please, I'm sorry, tarot info, please at gmail.com. So anybody that wants info or just to tell me your story, I want to know what's going on with you. Kiwi. All right, Kiwi, let's see here. You know what? I'm going to want to lower this a little bit. There, that's better. Okay, let's take, oh my gosh, Kiwi. I'm glad I lowered it. So this is a very auspicious card. It's the Sun card. Also, it's really with the new moon this weekend, and tomorrow is the 19th. So this is a very auspicious card. Now, before all of y'all get all jealous of Kiwi, because it's not what this is about. What this is about is a collective of people that end up listening to this recording. Right now, we have a handful of people, but before it's over, several, maybe even hundreds of people will take a peek at this reading. And the reality is, the cards come out for all of us. The reason I pull a daily card is because it's the only way the universe knows to make me pull a daily card. I'm not kidding. I love the cards, but I'll put it out of my routine and I won't look at them and see what the wisdom is of the day. So this is true for this reading for all of us, but especially for you, Kiwi. So it looks to me like you're coming to the end of a cycle. So if you are single and you're looking for somebody new, this is a really great card, especially it's the summertime in my part of the world right now. And the crops are growing very fruitfully. The thing is, it's not harvest time, is it? In the beginning part of summer? No, harvest time comes in 90 days. Okay, so I think this is a signal of something starting, new energy. If you are with someone right now and you're in a couple, this is a wonderful card of opening of something new. Another thing I always want to mention is that this is not just romantic love. This could be somebody in your family. It could be even at work, where suddenly you're treated with so much more respect. It's notable. It's like, wow, they never treated me like this before. So when this card comes out in a love reading, open up your mind to see what all the different loving relationships you have right now. Kiwi, that'd be my advice. Open yourself up to family, friends, past, future, everything. What is love meaning? What is the sun shining in for you? What insights are there? Okay. What a great card to start with. Thank you very much for being here, Kiwi. And let's see, what do I, oh, I do want to mention there's another YouTube personality who's very good at helping you attract love. Her name is Shelley Bullard, Bullard. She's another resource. Remember, always try to have a pencil so you can write down notes if you hear anything that is important to you. Okay, if you've just joined, I'm Catherine. Welcome to, I was going to say Plenty of Fish Tarot. I must have dating on my mind. No, Fish Out of Water Tarot. But there are plenty of fish. But we're doing love readings, real quick little love readings today. And if you would like one, just put your name. I'll add your name to my blossom, my breath blossom that I made the other day. And I have a video about that I can share with you, why I did it and why it's helping me manifest. But right now we're going to go with Graham. Graham, let's look at, I think that the most important message so far that I can tell y'all is don't get hooked on just one type of love when you're looking for love. This is, oh gosh, this is so important because this is your card, Graham. But there are many types of love. Imagine going to the market and looking at going up to the apples, and you've got all those apples there, and you're going to pick out some apples for yourself. Okay, can you picture it with me? Every one of them's different, but they're still apples. So that's the way it is with humans. Everybody's different out there, but they're still humans. And there are people in your life right now who really care for you. They do. They're fond of you. They want to spend time with you, but it may not be a soulmate. But when you are looking for love, look for all the humans around you and practice on them. Okay? It's not as lonely as you think. So, Graham, let's see here. We have a beautiful card. Now, what's happening here is that we've had two major cards. Major cards, there's only 22 of them, 22, 21. There's only 21, no, 22 with the zero card. There's only 22 of them. And so in 78 cards, when two come out right off the bat, what that's showing is that the changes that you're wanting, the changes that you're experiencing are happening at a deep level. Okay, the parts of yourself that are ready to make change. Sometimes you cannot see your own heart, right? A lot of times it's because of hurts from the past. Now, notice how this angel is standing so close to that lion with absolutely no fear. Now, I wish I could tell you that in your next relationship, you're going to be like this. You're going to be standing with no fear, but you won't. Okay? Okay, Marcella, let me just add you here. You're not going to be standing like this. I love what Abraham Hicks, write down Abraham Hicks, please. If you have not heard of them, you want to be hearing of them. One of the things that we must guard against is getting too protective, too careful, too walking around saying, I never want to be hurt like that again. Every time you say, I never want to be hurt like that again, those words are echoing forward and it assumes something. It assumes that every person is a dirty, rotten scoundrel somehow and that they're going to hurt you. And when you start assuming the wrong things about love, you get in trouble. Make sense? So this is, again, I'm going to mention manifesting by with Kimberly because she hits this one out of the park every time. You know, you have to be realistic and you have to face what it is that's frightening you. But if you're assuming that your next person's going to hurt your feelings, you need to learn how to assume the opposite. This is what they talk about with the law of assumption, where you learn how to assume what it's like to be flexible and strong but flexible, not like a steel beam, but more like a strong rope. A strong rope it can pull a car, right? If you have a strong enough rope, you can pull a car behind your car. However, a steel beam would not be the right kind of strength. So this card is just reminding you that strength is flexible. These are living creatures on the card, aren't they? The lion, think of how flexible and sinewy the lion is. And of course, the angel has not only the flexibility to walk on the earth, but also to fly. So this is strength, but flexibility. Got it? And so I would do you can Google law of assumption or you can do YouTube search on it. There are a gazillion teachers teaching it right now. And so I strongly recommend that you do that. Okay. And this is a good message for all of us, including me. I've been single a long time and I love it. I love living with my dogs. I'm older than probably everyone on this call with their ages added up. But I've come to a place where I really enjoy people. I enjoy having companionship, but I also really treasure my alone time. I've got hermit energy, but I practice being social because I know I need people and enjoy them. Okay, where am I here? I am, oops, let me take a peek. And Apple, you're so patient, Apple. And then Apple, and then I have Sandra and Vanessa and Marcella. You're welcome, Graham. Thank you. And thank you guys for volunteering to have a card because it helps the whole collective, right? I mean, didn't everybody feel that reading? If you did, I would love, because this helps me so much to know how to communicate with you guys. But it just give a thumbs up in there if you could feel that message for Graham. That whole idea of not wanting to be a steel beam and have the flexibility of a good, strong rope when you walk into your next relationship. Cheer a girl on. Anyway, speaking of which, be sure to hit the thumbs up because that thumbs up really is like a big hug to me. I can feel it because my eyeballs see it. So thank you for that. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so we're going, who are we with? Oh, yeah, we're here with Apple. What is it we have for Apple? What's your birth sign, Apple? Okay. And Apple, we have the Four of Earth. Okay, so even though this is about love, this is also very much about money. So Apple did put that their intention out there by saying that this is even though love is so important, money is equally as important. So it's kind of ironic that this card comes up, doesn't it? The Four of Earth corresponds with the Pentacles suit in the traditional tarot. And it is a card of, it can be interpreted as being too cheap, you know, about being so careful with your pentacles that you're no fun at all. And I get that because money is like an energy, it's like water. It's like the weather, money is, because you could have a drought and then you can have a flood. Okay, thank you. Interesting. Okay. Thank you for sharing. That does put an interesting twist on a life, doesn't it? With adoption and not knowing for sure certain things. But even though that's so for you, Apple, I would say that you are aware of, you have some good structure around you, you know. That's what this card says. That look how linear it is with the or the, what is that, she's sitting in that corner, and then the door with the angles, with the double four there, the 44. I would definitely take a peek online, just Google the significance, the spiritual significance of the number 44 for you. But this is kind of a closed card. Look how her legs are crossed. She's sitting on top of her treasure chest. She's got her arms pulled into her side. She's very focused and she's not wanting to spend the pentacles. So that's wise. It's wise for all of us to really, I believe that we have an inner being. I have to put this in there so you know where my beliefs are, pulsing from. My inner being is the best part of me. It's the part that's connected to spirit, to the divine. And I have a routine where when I'm upset or concerned about something and I become aware of it, this is very new for me. If I feel anxious, I try to remember to check in. What is my inner being thinking about this situation right now? And every time I ask myself that question, I, I take a breath. I always take a breath right after I ask it. And then I realize my inner being has a completely different view. My inner being, I can ask you this: do you believe you have an inner being? Do you believe that your inner being is connected to the divine? Do you believe your inner being can make a mistake? Those are three really good questions. That's from Abraham Hicks. But once, for me, I realized that 100% of what I'm worried about is not the same as the way my inner being sees it. My inner being sees it in a completely different way. Here's a perfect example. My little self might see this as very closed. See, everything's closed. How do you get in the treasure box? I want my money. How do I get my money, right? But that my inner being says, relax. Look at her. She's filing her nails. She's taking care of herself. Have you ever treated yourself lovingly? Because, like a manicure or like rubbing lotion on your hands, that would be a loving gesture. Do you ever do that when you're worried? No, probably not. I was just thinking to myself. I have some nervous habits where I might pace around the room, and certainly my mind goes amok when I'm worried. But my inner being says this is no time to worry. So here's your message, Apple, and the rest of you guys. Write down on a piece of paper things I can do for fun. Write this down. Things that I do for fun that don't cost money. This is what I'm recommending. Because if you want to have love in your life, you want to go out, you want to date, how do you do that with no money? It's next to impossible, right? Because either way, whether you're the masculine energy that wants to treat the feminine energy to a night on the town, or if you're a feminine energy and you want to take care of your masculine energy partner and treat them on the town, but you have no money. So building a bank account of things you can do that are fun, that cost no money. See if you could grow a list. Yep, exactly. Write it down. You want to have 10 things. Now, I know most of you will have three things or maybe only one, but that's just because you haven't asked yourself the question. Your brain loves questions. How can I have more fun without spending money? Right? That's a good one. Wouldn't it be nice? Right? This is a better one. I'm sorry to rush. Wouldn't it be nice if I could have a lot of fun without spending money? And let me see if I can think of it. You can only use the same answer one time. But that's great though. But that's excellent because if sleep is fun for you, when you start affirming that, the most fun thing I have in my life right now that doesn't cost money is sleep. There'll be a time you'll look back and you'll be howling with laughter at how funny that is. Because I bet, I might be wrong here, but I bet you have not put the word fun and sleep together. Now, I'm not counting the having fun with two people in the sheets, that kind of, bedtime behavior. No, I'm talking about sheer sleep. And if you really affirm to yourself, I want to have three more things in my life that are as much fun as sleep is. Got it? Because if you're already producing sleep as fun, it's just a matter of time that your mind will think of three or four more things. I'm not kidding. For me, I when I first did this, it probably, well, I got divorced about 8 or 9 years ago. 9 years ago this year, yeah, 9 years ago. So I know for sure it was around then because I just had a sudden cut in my um, well-being, financial well-being, and it was tough. I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? And I had to find things that were fun that didn't cost money, and now I just flow in them. And not only that, but when you have a really good attitude and you really are enjoying, I mean, look at her. She can't get to her pentacles. She's just sitting on them, right? But she's so calm. Okay. So this is what we need to do. We need to find as many things we can do to really enjoy life that costs us zero money. That's such a delicious vibe. And guess what? People start asking you places. I was asked to take 2 cruises. That was back in 2016 and 18, 2016, 17, 18. There was a man that I met, just a random person. He happened to sell me a car. And he has a mother who hadn't traveled ever and was taking care of an ill family member. And he treated her to a cruise and sent me along as her companion. I'm not kidding. That was at the same time I had zero money to like pay my rent. I was hustling month to month. And how much was that cruise worth? Probably a couple $1,000s. I didn't see that coming. So I'm telling you, there's something to this card for you, Apple. And you've been to the channel before a few times, right? And I've given you a few suggestions. I wonder if you followed up on them because it's really important to move and take action on what you want. So Apple, for sure, you have to check out Manifesting with Kimberly. And no, Kim doesn't give me a she doesn't give me a kickback. I just like her. She's no bullshit. If you want to be with somebody, you have to change your magnetism, and she's really good at it. Okay. Anyway, wow, I love that card, that reading for you. Oh, one more thing I would say is this. If you have money that comes in unexpectedly, which it usually does, this is why people talk about writing a manifesting list. Um, Well, if there's no treasure box that you're sitting on, then that's part of the issues that you have to deal with you. Okay, that's something that's your own personal issue. There's some wisdom out there about saving a penny for every dollar you make, and get in the habit of putting money aside so that you do have your own treasure chest. But the point is, though, she is not worried, is she? She's just not. And that's the thing when you have to turn your ship around. If you have to turn your ship around, it's going in the wrong direction financially, then something needs to be done differently, right? So many people come to me for love first, and that's why I suggest like people like Shelley Bullard or Manifesting with Kimberly. Those are two completely opposite energies. But it gets you on the right track, because this advice for you guys today about, oh, and please write to me. I'll say, I wish that more people would write, and I love when you do, so thank you. But this kind of advice, which trying to find things that are fun that don't cost anything, if you share that with me, and my email is tarotinfoplease@gmail.com. I can mention them in another video, and we can teach each other. I mean, this is where we can really make a big difference on the worldwide stage, right? Because we're all trying to manifest the same thing. I mean, I'm a single person, so happy being single, but I do love, I've got you on the list, Rain. I do love to be with people, and to share a close friendship. So for me, I think I would be more in tune with attracting somebody I could really be a close friend with, regardless of their gender, because I've lived in this hermit way for a long time. It's overwhelming to think of somebody coming and moving into my house with me and my dogs. So anyway, okay. I'm sorry I go ranting off onto my own agenda sometimes, you guys, but I just feel we all have so much in common, and we really can start to prosper before we're prospering. That's what the law of assumption is all about. Can you assume what it'll be like to have a little treasure in that box, Apple? So who's next? No, you guys, I'm going to start losing track of who signed up when on my flower, because I'm just adding your names to my flower today. And I would love to explain to you how I made the flower. And I will put a link into the notes for you. I should do that now, actually. With Or I can add it to a comment. I'm not going to worry about that right now, because I don't want to think about two things at once. So let's see, Sandra. Sandra, let's see. Sandra. Ah, we have the Seven of Fire. Okay, let's take a look at that. A lot of times, Sandra, the first thing that I want to say is that I'm thinking you might be the kind of person who feels misunderstood. Like you're always having to defend yourself. Sometimes that can be part of being single. It really can, because when you think of, if the first thought that you have when you think about having somebody living in your house with you right now, so right now, today, the right person shows up right now, and you think about having them come into your life in its current situation, you cringe. Or if they were right at your door, standing there right now, and you opened it up, that your heart would have that expansive, stretchy feeling, like somebody you have, like say it's a person you haven't seen for a long time who's your favorite person. So that's a good drill for you. And anybody else who, if you guys think you're ready for love, that's a great test. So the first, you have a closed door in front of you, and the first test is your ideal person's right there. And the idea of inviting them in makes you cringe. Or the door is closed. There's a person on the other side of the door that you do love. This is just a test, okay, to see what it is that what you're truly feeling about having a partner. Okay? And you open the door and you feel that, yay, oh, I'm so glad to see you again. And this huge smile just covers your face. So between those two extremes, where are you? And I would say, where is everybody on the call who's listening? It's a great test, because most of us would cringe thinking, oh shit, I would have emptied the refrigerator, I would have picked up my laundry. I would have swept and I would have dusted. And for those of you who are manic housekeepers, I would have had my financial affairs in order. I would have had my social needs all taken care of. I would have had my personality in balance, right? Many of us are not as ready for love as we think. So with this card, and I think that 7 is important for you. So I don't know if something's going to be happening in the next 7 days or 7 months, but I'm just getting this repetitive of 7. But there does seem to be some need for renovation to get really clear on what it is that you do want. When you look at where your stance is right now when it comes to love, there is again like the kind of the assumption, like you're assuming that you're going to need to defend yourself in your new relationship. That you may not even speak that assumption, but it's like you're assuming from your experience in the past, the way people have treated you. Or, for example, if you're like me, I had to watch people, my family, my parents didn't get along very well. And so I had imprinted upon myself that you had to always defend yourself in a relationship. Imagine that. A lot of people are like that. So what this shows me is, hold on, let me think for a second. Oh, I know. I would highly recommend listening to some meditations on self-love, first of all. Any of the teachers out there that I might mention to you, particularly Shelley Bullard, she's very big on self love, and she does have a lot of videos where she talks about it. But there are a ton of free resources out there, and they're short, they can be like 20 minutes, or you can have an 8 hour recording that you can listen to when you're sleeping about self love. And then the other one is working on inner child and finding a relationship or a connection with your inner child, Sandra. It'd be really helpful. Louise Hay, my favorite teacher about the inner child, I just have personal, like her voice is like Esther's. If you listen to Abraham Hicks, and Esther's voice is so soothing, same with Louise Hay. But this will really help you to find out what it is, what are your improper assumptions about love. And it could have come from past relationships, or it could have come from your family of origin. But it seems like you have this energy in you that makes you feel like you have to defend yourself, or the people in the relationship have to defend themselves. Okay, this is a really good message for me too, because I have to think about my parents, and they were like volatile. So in my growing up years, this was what I saw was normal in a relationship. Okay, so do check out that info on inner child work, or and especially self-love. No kidding. Do it yourself really works in energy work. That's what we call this stuff, energy work, where you're changing your mood, changing your mindset. And right now, if you go to the search on YouTube and just put law of assumption, there are people in every country teaching this stuff. It's really red hot right now. It's connected to the law of attraction, but you're sure welcome. But part of it is that you can listen to teachers like us who teach these things, but ultimately you have to do something about it. You have to create action plans so that you can change your thinking. That's the only thing you have control over. No other animals in the whole world can, well, they're finding out animals are smarter than they thought. But for us to use our thoughts like we do really is a phenomenal gift that we can do. So I'm just collecting, it's a baby channel. I teach about invisible money a lot. There's an invisible money game on Facebook where I teach how to have fun without having money. And then also that channel now is called Juicy Manifesting Tips. So write that down, Juicy Manifesting Tips. And that's where I created a video to talk about why I created this blossom that you guys are all, see, now I'm going to hang that up in my house and think about you this week. Okay, so, but why is it that doodling can help me manifest? That was really fun. I took a doodling class 2 weeks ago, and I didn't want to throw all that stuff at my tarot world, so that's why I'm collecting it over there. But thank you for coming to visit me over there. Juicy Manifesting Tips. Okay, so beautiful apple kiwi. Graham, Sandra, Vanessa, my dear Vanessa. Now, Vanessa has been coming for a few weeks, and things are up and down, aren't they, Vanessa? But the truth is, things always work out. So write that down. A person like me, who's been manifesting over 20 years now on purpose, I know for sure, hey, Preeti, welcome. I know for sure that things always work out. I know it for sure. Write that down. Things always work out. one way or the other, same, Preeti, one way or the other, when you look back, I bet you right now, this is June 18th, 2023, in my part of the world. Think back 5 years ago. Think back 5 years ago, right now. Okay, go ahead. Who was your major worry person 5 years ago? Who were you the most worried about 5 years ago today? Right? Stuff passes away in our past. It just does. And if you know who that was, you have to get some support. It doesn't have to be from me. But these do it yourself techniques that are out there with the Abraham Hicks or manifesting with Kimberly, she's just going to kick your ass. If you have any victim energy, she will help you see it and evict it. I don't need to teach it because she does. Shelley Bullard, if you need self-love, she will kick your ass until you realize I need to love myself first before anybody's coming in. I don't want to teach that either because it's already being taught. But what I want to do is connect you to things that work, that you can do with your hands, your markers, your paper, your ears. There's tools to use that will help you manifest what you want. Because I do like it when you come back to see me every week, but I want to hear testimonies. I want to hear you guys saying, I had the best week. You can't believe what happened, Catherine. I felt so lucky this week. I will tell you as I reach over here for Vanessa's card, that I started writing down things that came to me that I didn't have to spend money on just because I wanted to keep track, because I had strange things happen. I'd be standing in line at the theater, like you're waiting for your food to order your snack for your whatever I was seeing. And somebody walked up to me and handed me a gift certificate for a drink and popcorn. Here, could you use this? Why did that person pick me out of 30 people? I don't know, can't explain it. But I do know that when you start changing your attitude and your mood and you start becoming more aware of what's around you all the time in what you're manifesting truly, you manifest more and more and more, bigger and better and really cool things. Okay, where are we? Vanessa, I kept you in suspense, didn't I? Let's take a peek. Aw, wonderful card. And again, just to remind you that this is one of the cards that is in our in the major arcana. So this would be a message that goes deep. This is when the angels want to remind you that there's a transition going on, a transformation going on that is deep within your soul. When we were talking about the seven, these two cards here, where we had the Four of Earth and the Seven of Fire. Those are more about what's going on in your walking around life, in the life in the outer world. But this is the card that suggests that this balance that's coming is coming from the inner world. Okay. Now, many times when you are dealing with major life issues, you can get really thrown out of balance. And what I can't help but notice here is this the moon up there. Hang on, I just have to look closer. It's such an unusual glow. I thought it was a reflection coming from the lighting around me that was blocking out the E in the word balance. And it's even when I look closely, it's hard to tell if it's a sun or a moon, but it's definitely a star. So Vanessa, the star card is the card of healing. And I just can't help but notice, I'm writing your name down, Alan. I just can't help but notice that. And I've looked at this card many times, but I've never seen that before. The second thing I notice is how she's pouring that rainbow of energy from cup to cup. Okay, that's unusual here. Normally it's water, and cups are the suit of our emotions. So for you, Vanessa, what I'm seeing in this card today is that you're just not aware of how much flow there is within your being right now. You do feel out of balance. You feel like how it is when your car is got a, when there's a tire that's pulling you to the left lane and you have to kind of fight to stay straight. You know that feeling where you're working at keeping balance. But the idea of using this rainbow instead of water is very healing because it always comes after a storm, right? Always comes after a storm. And so I believe that you're coming out of a period where you were very out of balance and you're really stepping forward. Again, I'm aware here that, I just feel like this star is crossing the sky and true balance is ahead for you. In your situation, it's more about self-love. There is just no question. There's not a second figure here. And I think being able to compromise with yourself and what your demands of yourself are, what you're thinking is reasonable right now, is going to really pay off. Okay? It's just a beautiful card. Take a breath. True for all of us, those of you who are really prioritizing love, I would say it's just true for all of us that there is a compromise with how open we're going to be in that next relationship. And I feel like that's kind of an overall theme here. Remember, we talked earlier, we talked about needing to be strong in a relationship, but there's a steel beam is strong. This table is strong. I can't bend this table, right? This card is strong. I can't tear it easily, but look how flexible it is. And so that's part of, we use the example of a rope and how a rope could be used to pull a car if you had a big enough rope, but you could always bend it, but it was strong enough. And so that's what I'm feeling is our overreaching theme here as we're reaching for love. So I have my little fairy Dora here and I want to bring her into the picture. Okay. All right. Now let's see who's next here. I think Marcella. Oh no, Vanessa. We got Vanessa. Okay, Marcella. If something strikes you and you want to reach out and just let me know what's going on, feel free to email tarotinfoplease@gmail.com. And I would just love to hear your story. What's going on, Marcella? Let's see. What do we have for Marcella? All right, Marcella, let's take a look here. And we're looking at the Three of Water. Okay, Marcella, it looks to me like in the past, I love all these butterflies because they just strike me with transition, caterpillars becoming butterflies, and how much fun it is to fly. Can you imagine how much fun it would be to fly as a butterfly when before? I love that crown, Your Majesty. Okay, but this just shows that you are really coming out of a time of transition. Okay, you're absolutely ready to dance and sing. You've been a caterpillar long enough. You may have been kind of satisfied to be in behind the scenes and out of action for a while, but it's time to step out there. Now, what this is showing me, and this may be not quite accurate, but I'm sensing that in the past, when you would align yourself with a partner, that you may have slipped a little in your friendships and almost that your crown slipped off your head a little bit, because you began to compromise, or you just lost your girls, lost your feminine hobbies and your feminine connections to come into partnership with someone. And that part of the transition that's going on for you right now, getting you ready for love, is your ability to, my dog may bark here any second because a car is driving past my house, but that your girls, look at them raising their cups, okay? This is the suit of cups in the traditional tarot, and it is the three, there's a scripture out there. Isn't there something about a cord of three strands cannot be broken? Is that a scripture, you guys? I got goosebumps just saying that. But I feel like that. I feel like every woman needs a team around her. Hey, Mojo, welcome. Every woman needs two things. One, a moonstone. Somebody told me once that, and I never forgot it. And the other is that chord of three strings. Now, your chord, one of your strings might be your inner being. You might be the kind of woman who doesn't have a lot of close connections with females. I'm like that. I'm just a loner. But if I'm really in good connection with my inner being, and the law of assumption in my life, one of my main life assumptions is that I have an inner being. See, Marcella, that's killer. This card is predictive for you. That's coming. But anyway, let me just finish this part. I have an inner being. I know that in my soul. My inner being is connected to the divine. It is the divine. Okay, that's a second assumption. I live as if that's true. I live assuming my inner being can't screw up, that my inner being doesn't make mistakes. My personality, my little being, myself, my regular me, yes, right? I am too. I have hermit energy, Marcella. But the thing is, though, if you're looking for love, it's got to be connected to other humans. So for me right now, I need to assume that my inner being knows what's best for me. And I do enjoy being with people to a certain extent. And so, what I'm doing with these love messages is I'm turning them towards my friendships and my clients because I love working one on one with people with the cards, but I'm not for everyone. And I couldn't possibly give readings to everyone that watches the videos. It's not even possible. So I use these techniques to attract to myself people who will really tune in and hear the information, whether it's here on these videos or on a one-on-one. But I would never surround myself with 10 intimate people. It would never work for me. I grew up in a family of 10. Funny, I use that. It's to think about it. I was the oldest of 8 children, 7 brothers younger than me. And that might be a big reason why I enjoy living by myself with my doggies. So I would say for me, one of my inner circle, one of these three would be my inner being for sure. But I do know that I'm a better person when I have another human that I am enjoying, either a friend or a family member. Yeah, it one on one works until it doesn't. And because the universe tends to deliver things in the hands of humans. There are occasional appearances of things, right? Like you find money or you have good fortune where no human is around. However, most of manifesting comes through other humans. So this is good up and to a point. So for you, Marcella, exactly. So um, so hang on, Mojo, okay? But anyway, so back over here we are with our Three of Wands, back to this energy. This is a universe, the divine knock, knock, knocking on your door, right? That definitely. And all those butterflies, they're just showing more readiness than you know you have. All right. So let's see. What I would say, okay, hold on. So could you resonate with that message around the Seven of Wands? I have a feeling that that was, or that was resonant with you also. But I would take a listen to Louise Hay's material on being a woman or on the inner child because I just love her. She's common sense and I think you'll really enjoy it. Okay. Okay. Let's put this. Thank you for coming, Marcella. I'm writing names on my breath blossom. Firefly. Here's my, oops, I'm Catherine, by the way, for those of you if you're brand new here. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. It means the world to me. I am making, today I am putting all your names on my breath blossom, and I put a video up on my juicy manifesting tips that explains why I did this and how it helps me manifest. So take a peek over there, juicy manifesting tips. I want to plant, that's my little garden. I'm just planting a little tiny garden where I can just share stuff that works for me. And so thanks for taking a peek. Okay, where am I here? Now I'm getting to the point where I may not get to everyone because we're almost at an hour here. I started late because I had some technical difficulty. So thank you for those of you who have all hung in there with me. I will I'm just going to do the best I can. If I don't get to you today, I will next week, same time, same place. I'm trying to be here every single Sunday reading cards. So let's go forward here. Let's see. Rain. Rain, you've been here a while. Rain. Let's take a look. I love that name, Rain. It's a rainy day in Tennessee. Okay. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Six of air. All right. Okay. Interesting. I love the rain, the Six of Swords. This is the rain, Six of Air for you, Rain, because it's a really good message for someone who understands they need to draw a line in the sand. Okay. See the swords that are in the water here as this boat is going along, and this is just a path here to a solution. So whatever's been going on, we can see this path showing up and going to the solution. So you've definitely been on a mission here and changing your feelings, changing your beliefs around something that's important to you when it comes to love. And you know what? Sometimes this could be your family of origin, where somehow you have to divide yourself, you have to separate yourself, you have to be different than them, going in the same direction but different, and allowing the people in your past to have their own path. Okay, so imagine that. Now you can see over here on this side of the line, this is a little stormy over there. And how often is it that we get pulled into other people's drama, don't we, Rain? Where all of a sudden we're right in the middle of something that's not our own. So I feel like this is really important for you and maybe others watching this, that when you're going forward to your own relationship, that you have that line. It's like staying in your lane on the freeway, right? Imagine those are lane markers. And that even though the people riding along with you, which could be family of origin, could be people at work, could be friends, but they're not living your love life. You're living your love life. But everybody's going in the same direction. You may need to be careful not to listen to gossip about things. You may need to have strong boundaries about how you talk about your new person. Maybe you need to stop oversharing. That could be a special message for somebody out there, that if you usually open your heart and just tell the person everything about yourself on the first date, that might be causing some difficulties for you. Not sure where that's coming from. But this is really a good card. This is a card of achievement. Things are coming into clarity. So I encourage you to stay focused on what it is you're wanting. I would definitely take a peek at some law of manifest. Let me see when this means. Interesting. Thank you for coming back and sharing that, Apple. Um, as you're going forward here, the last thing I want to say to you, Rain, is take a look at the sail. See the sail is there's an angel on it, right? So what that's showing me is that you can keep yourself focused on, I'm going to say heavenly things, or if you're a prayerful person, where you can just connect to your divine source. In fact, now that I'm seeing that, I like it like it's your inner being, that your inner being's guiding you. Oh, I really like that for you, Rain. And see how the crossbow of the sail here, it's going right through his hand like it's a big wand. And so that's the key for you. Find your inner being. YouTube Abraham Hicks videos on love and just feast on them and listen to them, because Esther will really help you connect with your inner being. That's really nice reading. I'd like to take that one for myself. Oh, by the way, if that ever strikes you, that you're here and you hear a message and you think, oh my gosh, that sounds like it could be for me, it is for you. That's the law of attraction in action. And we assume that everyone that feels drawn to this card is drawn to the same energy, which to me is to attract a sustainable connection where the next friendship, the next position at work, um, all of that is hang on, I said, my phone is telling me that I'm losing power, so I don't want to lose power. Okay, plug that in. um, a sustainable connection. So if you have a pencil and a paper, write that down. Sustainable connection. Sometimes people say, I want to fall in love. Well, fall is like you could hurt yourself. And love, sometimes love is not a high vibration word because love hurts. Really, there's so many breakups that have left part of us broken, right? So many breakup songs. Who has a favorite breakup song out there, right? So right now, in order to Murphy. Hey, Murphy. Sorry about that, everybody. That's my little Murphy. Um, as you're seeking to have a sustainable connection, for being taking ownership for who you are as a boyfriend, girlfriend, person, friend, whoever you are. Who are you as the partner to the person? That's where you could, that's the only thing you can change. So go to Manifesting with Kimberly. I love her. Or Shelley Bullard. They have opposite energies, but they're very good at helping you prepare yourself to attract the exact right person. Okay. So where are we here? Meanwhile, the cards can direct you um, by pointing you to questions to ask yourself. And as self-help, yeah, heck yeah. I have people that come week after week after week, and they just keep walking this out and they're seeing change. And I hope that you're one of those. Okay, so let's see here. Who do we have? So, yeah, right, there you go. Okay, so let's see. We're going to go to Alan. Alan, yes, Alan. Alan, let's pull a card for Alan. Okay, and this is another major arcana, you guys. Holy smokes. We're really having a lot of major cards come out. So this is a time right now, there's a new moon happening and there's some astrological stuff that I don't personally understand. I only know a little bit about the personalities of the different signs, but not the true knowledge of the stars. But I do know that moon cycles are really cool for well, I like them as manifesting tools because they come every 28 days. So when the new moon is here right now, you can plant seeds of intentions, things that you really want to accumulate or that you want to see change in the next month. And then when the next new moon happens, you have something to compare. And also, when full moon happens, you can see what you can release to continue the growth of your intentions. So there's a wonderful resource called Astrology Guy. He here on YouTube. He's the best teacher for understanding your personalities compared to your birth sign. So I recommend him. But anyway, over here to Alan. So with the renewal card, this is a time, um, and we're talking about love today. So taking this for love for you, Alan, that it's time to pause, okay, and stop. Take a look at your past relationships and just kind of do an audit. Maybe you're an accountant, but do kind of an audit of this is just between you and you, where I would even do it with pencil and paper, where you write down what it is that was the most distressing to you about your past relationships and what was the most distressing about the various partners. So you have two lists. What was upsetting about from your take of your past relationships, and then on the other side, writing down what it was about them that was distressing to you. If these lists cause you to feel, you may feel physically like in your upper chest, you could feel pressure, you could feel heat. A lot of times you might feel like radiating tightness going up your throat, up even into your ears. And a lot of times for people who are not sure why things aren't going forward, or just not sure why they can't seem to have the right person, they do have blocks in the energy around, how can I say this? Well, you know what it's like when someone gets you and you get them. You can't really put words on what it feels like to get someone. But that's the part that can be hard to express for some people. So just doing an audit and figuring out, gosh, that I hated that, I hated that, I didn't like how they were there, that type of thing. What you can use that list for is for looking at contrast. Abraham Hicks teaches a lot about contrast. We have to go through attracting the opposite of what we want on our way to finding what we do want. The only way you know the ideal partner for yourself is to have several that don't work out. We can get mad and want to blame people or think, oh gosh, if they wouldn't have done that and they cheated on me and etc. But the reality is all we truly learned is that there was things about the way that person did life that didn't agree with us. And our inner being wanted us to leave that alone. So, right now, when you do look at the past, if you have heartbreak that's back there, there is a blog you can take. Um, Hang on a second. I have somebody messaging me. There's a blog you can go to. It's called Breakup Candy. breakupcandy.com. It happens to be my blog. I wrote it a few years ago, and now I'm back over there again, kind of breathing life into it. It's all about recovering from breakups. And there are techniques and tools you can use on that website that will help you. Because breakups can separate us from future love. It can make us too defensive, okay? So I would just do that audit and allow yourself to renew your dreams and to renew your heart in terms of what you can expect from love. Okay, Alan? And again, these are deep changes for sure. And also, if you are feeling like an achy, breaky heart, I would, okay, hang on, let me think here. Who could I recommend? I always go back to my favorites because but manifesting with Kimberly, she'll have compassion with you if you're breaking up. I mean, she wants to help you get over that. But on the other hand, you don't want to wallow in it. You want to be able to get up and go forward. So she's very good for that. And then Louise Hay, Inner Child, is very good for deep disappointment. Okay, so if you see yourself on either end of that, and just hold on for just a quick second here. Um, just checking on something. I will, okay, hold on. Okay, I've got time to do a couple of more cards here for sure, guys. Somebody's trying to message me. I'm trying to do this and that and the other. Okay, let's see here. Who do we have? Mojo. Let's do a card for Mojo now. And again, I'm really going to try to get to everybody. If I don't get to you, um, you can pop in. Here, hang on for a second. I'm here every Sunday. Okay. I'm here every Sunday at the same time, so please do come back. Also, check out my other channel, Juicy Manifesting Tips. And I explain how I made my breath blossom and why. And let's see what else. Email me at tarotinfoplease@gmail.com and let me know what's going on. I love the stories. So, Mojo, let's pick a card. Ellen, you have a wonderful day too. It's it, I'm just going to say a bright horizon I see for you when you're in that audit process. So go for it. Okay, so Mojo. Okay, and we have the 5 of air. Okay, the 5 of air. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is okay, how do I put this in words? how can, when I look at her face, so I look at her face, and what I'm seeing is, how can I make a move without hurting anybody's feelings? That's what I'm picking up here. There's been some errors. There's been some, it like wrong assumptions. Remember, we were talking about the law of assumption earlier. There's been some wrong assumptions about love. Some Abraham Hicks calls them false. How do they call it? False premises. I like that word, false premise, because sometimes when it comes to love, there's parts of us that are just immature. They're too dreamy, too fantasy like. And with the law of attraction, sometimes that can be tricky, because when you make your list of your perfect partner, right, or what it is you want to manifest, it might not quite be realistic. You might have a dream for a dream partner that's coming out of a book that you read or a movie that you saw, and it's not realistic. You may have in your past, you may have had relationships that you saw, you watched, or you were part of that were not satisfying, that people didn't seem to treat each other very well, or they it just didn't seem like something you wanted. If you ever picked a partner, you would not want to live like them. And that can put that kind of energy into your current moment that keeps you stuck, because it doesn't look like she wants to take a move on this game. Okay, because the whole dating and relating, it is like a game, not in a bad way that you manipulate people, but in the way that you hold a light-hearted attitude toward it. Just enjoy getting to know people. Don't feel like you have to have a game plan in place to be married or to have that happily ever after partner, because that puts a lot of pressure on everyone. Okay, going forward with confidence toward the kind of partnership you want is absolutely a perfect game plan, but you do have to take action for yourself. Okay, so I recommend for you, Mojo, that you go to Shelley Bullard. It's Bullard, and she does sell, she has coaching programs that you can purchase, but you don't need to. She has really literally hundreds of videos that talk about how to be a receptive, wonderful partner, and by taking responsibility for what it is that you want. And I believe she's realistic. I believe that how what she teaches and how she teaches to find a partner is very strong, and teach you how to assume what it's like to be in a balanced, loving relationship. And that there are false assumptions right now that you have to be something different than who you are, maybe. So definitely check that out. Okay. Shelley Bullard. I think you'll like her. Okay. Excellent. Thank you for being here. This is such a beautiful card. Yeah. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Here, in the beginning, remember I said about, I, you guys can play this game with me. And do you believe you have an inner being? Do you believe the inner being can make a mistake? Okay, and some people might say, well, yes, my inner being could make a mistake. Okay, let's go backwards. Do you believe in God or a divine source of some sort? Do you believe that the divine source makes mistakes? Do you believe your inner being is connected to divine source? If you answer yes to all of those, except that divine doesn't make mistakes part, what that does for me, I assume that my divine self knows better than my human self. I assume that. I assume it and I live it out. And it feels good to me. So if you're on that, if you're there with me, then the reason that we're not getting what we want, or the reason like this card, see how she's crossing her arms, she's like, what can I do? I have to figure this out. That she is not in connection with her inner being in this card. Because if she were in allowing her inner being to inspire her, she would behave differently. Why do I say that to you? Because I do. I behave differently now when I check in with my inner being. Murphy, good boy. Come here. Come here, good boy. Okay, so let's see. Who do I have here that I haven't read for? I'm just looking at my flower. Let's see. Preeti. Oh, Preeti, my friend, been here following me for a while. Haven't you, Preeti? And I know that she puts into practice. And Preeti, be sure to check out my other channel, the Juicy Manifesting Tips on YouTube, because I know you'll love those techniques. I'm over there too. Okay. Pretty. Oh, we have another major. This is such a wonderful reading. I'm feeling inspired and happy to share these cards with you today. Of course, I say that every week. But the number one card, so the zero card in the tarot deck is the Fool, which starts out on a new journey. And the number one card that comes next is this Magician card, which this to me is an absolutely great illustration right now of our inner being. And just to pull this card right after talking about the inner being, because I do believe my inner being is capable of all kinds of magic. I really do. I believe it's my inner being that nudges me to do this or to go there or to do this reading. I believe my inner being cares for me. I'm working on right now my own personal mission, and so I'll share it with you, Preeti. Is every night I'm listening to self-love meditations. I just Google or YouTube search for self-love because Shelley Bullard, she tells that constantly. It's all about self-love first, and she's just such a lovely person. And you know, I'm not. I don't have the same fashion sense that she does. I mean, she's just a beautiful, flowy, goddessy woman. But I think that that idea that to come into, you're welcome, Mojo, to come into this assuming that you have an inner being and that your inner being is connected to the divine and your inner being is divine, these kinds of assumptions really change your belief system about what's possible. Because in your own little self, your personality, there are limitations. We're only at our best when we are connected to our inner being. And so when you need to say the right thing or you need to keep your mouth shut, there's the Tarot ship with Jimmy uh, is wonderful. Jimmy is great. If you haven't seen him, the Tarot ship with Jimmy. And he gave some advice to Scorpios last week about, I know you want to fight back. I know you want to argue, but don't let yourself. Well, wouldn't you know, I had some opportunities come up where I heard those words in me and I heard them and they said, you know, you're going to want to snap back, but don't. And so even though, you know, he doesn't know me and I'm listening to a collective reading, something in me knew that my inner being would agree with that my inner being would want me to check in first. I got that message a long time ago. Let's say it's with a family member and you really want to say something, like you have something to say. And then you ask yourself these questions. Are you sure it's the right time to say it? Are you positive this is the right time? And if you get a yes, say it. And then are you sure it's the right time? And you get a no. Like in your heart, you feel no. Then don't say it. Don't override that. And then this was the best one. If you aren't sure, if you're not sure if it's the best time to say it, then don't. That's a killer. I had one of my friends say, well, no, I can't do that. I have to say it. But we don't. So, what I'm saying to you today, um, in this particular reading, Preeti, is to rely on your inner being. And this is a call for all of us. Rely on our inner being at all costs. Be aware that your inner being is calling or available to you always. Our job is to check in. So for me, what I'm working on right now in my manifesting practice is recognize when I'm out of sorts. By out of sorts, I mean frustrated, annoyed, angry, sad, bored, um, random. Like sometimes I'll just like wander around my apartment random. I'm not doing anything. So just feeling just off in any way. My goal is to remind myself, wait a minute, what does my inner being think about what's happening right now? What does my inner being think about what I'm experiencing? And every single time I shift, I shift over. I can feel myself think, oh, yeah, my inner being doesn't give a hoot. And that shifts me enough. And that's when I might do a breath blossom. I might create something so that I can center my mind and find well being. The vortex, right? Abraham talks about that. I haven't used that word one time in today's messages, but that idea of finding a deep inner peace on the inner part of you will always make you more magnetic. I feel like I should stop the readings now because that was such a powerful card. But there are still people here, and so I will read a couple more. But thank you, Preeti. This is a really good card and an excellent reminder for me and for everyone else that's been listening in on our cards today that what are you assuming about manifestation? What are you assuming? Are you assuming that it's hard? Are you assuming that you're doing it alone? Are you assuming that you don't have an inner um, being and that you're a manifester by yourself? Because all those things are false assumptions, or what Abraham calls them, false premises. So Firefly, I see Firefly was here. I don't know if Firefly's still here. So let me just pull a card. I love Firefly. If you'd like a reading, drop a comment and I will do my best to get a reading done before we're finished today. This is Catherine, and that you found Fish Out of Water Tarot. Thank you for those of you who endured my technical failings in the beginning of the reading. And we have, holy moly, look at there. So let me take a peek. And Firefly. So this card, the first thing I notice is the glow around the head. And it reminds me of the Hanging Man. Which I think that what's going on for you today is that there is a light. I like that you are using Firefly as your name because a firefly has a little tiny, tiny light that shows up at night. It's a little speck of light that is so beautiful. I just moved to a part of the country where I get to see fireflies again, and they're so fun and magical, but they're tiny. So what this is showing me is that, Firefly, is that you are ready to be connected to something that's bigger than yourself. It may be your green light for creating a partnership that really works, or it could be working on a loving connection with someone in your family. But you have a bigger light than you think you do. There's a sense of, I'm just this little small being with this little tiny flash of light. But on the inner, in the heavenlies, in the energetic world, there's a really big glow. And that people are going to be drawn to you. The right people are going to be drawn to you. And it is not for you to carry them. It is for you to just connect them to source. Okay. So as you are coming out into this new world that you're walking into and you feel so tiny, don't you worry. This whole reading today has been all about staying connected to your inner being, the inner being of the source of that light. And you're just the flame on the candle. Think about that, like a big candle with this little flame on top. And the universe is there to protect you as you simply go about doing you, be you. You don't have to be like anyone else. And you sparkle to your little heart's content and know that you're going to be protected. I'm excited for you, Firefly. There's something very, very cool in the horizon for you. Okay, and is there, and Jahan, I don't know if you're still here, darling. Let me grab a card for Jahan here while we wrap up. Okay. Another major, this has been some kind of reading today, you guys. Holy smokes. So Jahan, and sure, JJ, let me just write you down here. Okay. So the lovers, let me take a look. Okay, so what I'm aware of here, gosh, we have just had such a repeat of theme, card after card, because again, what's most shiny in this card is how lit up the angel is, right? Look how the all of the light in this picture is in the background of this couple. So Jahan, what I'm seeing here is that your inner being is standing here in between everything, holding up everything. And that one of the things that's going to bring you the most success in your relationships is embracing your shadow side, okay? There is fear in everyone when you're getting intimately involved with people that, oh my gosh, if they knew the real me, what would they think? Or if they knew the real me, they might leave. And so what happens there is that we hide parts of ourselves. So right now, if you are not with a partner, Jahan, or anyone who's listening, if you're not with a partner, this is the perfect time to watch for your shadow sides of your personality. Get to know them a little bit. Get to know what we might call your fatal flaw. What is it that's a part of your personality that you're not proud of? What about road rage? Do you get angry or frustrated at people? Are you hard on yourself? Do you have a strong inner critic that is bugging you all the time? You know, guess what? Your inner critic is the exact opposite of your inner being. Think about that. It's like they're two ends of the same stick. That your inner being is there knowing what's best for you, knowing that you need to have a healthy relationship with your shadow side, and your inner critic is on the opposite end saying, oh no, never let that inner, never tell, never show me, never show me. And that's no way to build intimacy in a partnership, right? So what this card is showing you, that before your next lover comes, do some work on your shadow. Now, the fastest way for me personally, there's two sources. One is the astrology guy. Go and look up the astrology guy, pick your astro sign, and watch the video that's called The Do's and Don'ts of Dating a Scorpio or Dating a Sagittarius by Astrology Guy. He is hilarious and you'll feel busted. You'll see yourself in what he says. That's what I call owning your shadow. Own it, own the weaknesses of your personality. Then you're going to kick ass because your inner being wants for you what you want for you. Your inner being knows your heart's desire and stands strong, waiting for you to simply acknowledge at any given moment. So, Jahan, I think this is really an exciting card. Take advantage of learning a little bit about the part of your personality that is not your favorite astrology guy, okay? And then go to manifesting with Kimberly because she will help you embrace yourself. She will help you see the parts of yourself that you're not seeing that actually repel your special person, your significant person. You don't want to repel that. And manifesting with Kimberly, Kim will show you how. Okay, so there's your marching orders. And again, with the lover's card being a major arcana. So this is a deep change. If you're in between, if you're with someone and you want to do this kind of cleansing, you can still do it for sure. But if you don't like how you're being treated in the world when it comes to love, definitely take a look at the darker side of your personality. It should make you laugh. If it makes you cry, I want to be able to give you a hug. Sorry about that. But it's never too painful to just be honest with yourself and take in what it is you can do to be more magnetic and pull in that partner. Okay, so we have JJ. JJ, let me pull a card for you. Thank you for popping your head in. I'm Catherine. This is Fish Out of Water Tarot. I'm here every Sunday reading cards with my friends. Oh, I forgot coffee. Oh gosh, I'm glad I put it in a thermo mug. It's still warm. Mm, yummy. Okay, JJ, welcome. Be sure to hit a thumbs up if you like the reading because it feels like a hug and I love hugs. Okay, and we have the Five of Fire for you, JJ. All right, so let's take a look. All right, JJ, you know what? It looks to me like there's just a bit of frustration, confusion. There's just a lot of talk. There may be a lot of gossip going on, a lot of, there's things in your mind that just don't need to be there. And the first thing that strikes me, hang on, I just want to take a close look. Very cool. The first thing that I'm seeing, I'm just going to get it close so you can see it too. She's got a key around her neck. See that? And the key is just shining. But look at how her hand is at her head. So she's definitely kind of causing her own misery right now. She's got fire. She knows what she wants. She's been through things and she knows this personality trait I do not want. I want the opposite of the people that I've attracted, right? So she's making a strategy, but she has too much fire around her. It's time for her to act. So she's missing the fact that the key is in her heart. Her mind is not going to give her the peace of mind, the peace that she's looking for. Now, remember, in the early part of today, in the earlier readings, we were talking about how attractive peace of mind is in two ways. Number one, when you have peace of mind, you are in what Abraham calls the vortex, that you're at ease with your path to what you're wanting to manifest. But if your mind is too active and you're second guessing yourself and constantly repeating assumptions of your life that are simply not true. There may be an assumption I have to protect myself. I can't trust because something could happen. I don't know how they're going to act when I'm not with them. All that she's causing her own misery. That's exactly right, JJ. Totally causing her own misery. You could be doing this reading, girl. But the point is, though, it's nothing but a change of mindset, right? It's a change. Oh, gosh, bless your heart. This is you, right? This is you exactly. That that you are causing your own misery. So, what can happen here? First of all, the Six of Wands is a wonderful card. I love it. It's the one on the traditional tarot where they show the guy walking through the village and people are noticing that they've made that progress. And so, what this tells me about your situation, JJ, is that you're in process, you're on the path to being that, where even though this person did the ghosting thing, which is very difficult for sure and a pain to go through, the reality is that you dodged a bullet. Rejection is protection every time. So write it down. Rejection is protection. And so this person was not sustainable. There's no, now I'm moving energy in my chest right now for you, but this connection was not sustainable. The truth is that your inner being was trying to give you signals. I have great confidence that over the last several days, maybe weeks, you've just felt something's off. And that is your inner being. It's so soft. The inner being doesn't hit us on the head, even though we need it sometimes, but the inner being nudges us. For example, even finding a random card reading like this, you might even find something laying on the street. You might find um, items that make you be suspicious, okay? So be gentle with yourself. Have mercy on yourself. Notice that even though it looks like she's surrounded by these wands and she can't get out, that's not true. She could just walk out, okay? So as far as homework goes, go over to breakupcandy.com. Take a look. I do breakup recovery. That's what I did before. I got mentioned in a book. Pam Grout wrote a book called Thank and Grow Rich, and she put my story in her book. I did not ask for that to come. That's like the biggest manifestation of my life, kind of, because people find me through her book. But that idea, before I found her in 2015, I was writing breakup recovery, and I know a lot about it. So there's tons of articles over there. And so that might be helpful for you, okay? Breakupcandy.com. And then give yourself a break, just give yourself time to rest and recuperate. And there's readings here for your birth sign. And so you can tune in. And also the daily card. Every day I read a card for the collective Monday through Friday. So those should be helpful for you too, JJ, okay? But the reality is, you are a bright and shining being. You deserve to be with someone who loves and supports you, and you deserve to be in a sustainable connection. So I would write that down. I deserve to be in a sustainable connection. I deserve to be in a sustainable connection. That if it makes you cringe or you feel like it's not true to say it, that's okay. That's kind of normal. But then I would suggest you go to Louise Hay and her work on being a woman, or the inner child work. And JJ, I don't know, but I always suggest Louise Hay to start, because her voice is like Abraham, like Esther. It's so soothing, and healing is what you're needing, right? And you're ready. You're ready. Also, when it comes to breakup too, so much it's about the lessons learned, right? When Abraham teaches about contrast, they teach that the only way you understand what you want is by experiencing what you don't want. Let me say that again. The only way. That means that, I hate to say it, but it's almost like we can be grateful for breakups. And we can be grateful for circumstances that show us. I hate when that happens, because that's the only way to form the desire for what you really, really want. So when someone ghosts you, then what you want is sustainability, right? It's the opposite. So you're like, oh, hell yes. I want to be with I want my next connection to be sustainable, because I don't want to be ghosted again. So you're like, I don't want to be ghosted. I don't want to be ghosted. But then you're assuming that that's normal. Ghosting will become part of your energy field. And it's just coming out of fear. So again, checking with your inner being. And these questions that Abraham asks all the time. If this is resonant, hit the thumbs up. It creates an energetic loop. I cannot explain to you how that works, but when you engage with me, it creates that loop of energy. So Abraham asks, do you believe you have an inner being? Do you believe the inner being is connected to God? Do you believe the inner being could be God? Do you believe you could fool God? Do you believe you could fool your inner being? I assume that my inner being is flawless, because I believe God is flawless. I believe God is perfect. I believe the part of me that's connected to God is divinely perfect. I also believe I have this personality over here that's Catherine, and that we are a blended being. So then I want to assume as much of that part of me, the assumption that my divine self does not live in time and does not make mistakes. And so I, just like this is similar to breathing, like a dolphin has to come to the surface and take a breath. The dolphin has to breathe on purpose. So in the same way, I have to kind of breathe those assumptions on purpose. Lots of times where I assume I have an inner being. It's like taking a breath. And then check in. What would my inner being do right now? And I never choose be frustrated. I never choose something that pulls me out of the vortex. Okay. So that I didn't know I was going to say that. I got people listening. These are concepts that I really love to live with. So you definitely take it's living as if, but manifesting with Kimberly is my hero of the moment, because she teaches it. She's completely um, never allows you to make an excuse of why it won't work for you. It's all a matter of what we're assuming about life. Okay. So anybody else? Let's see. Let me look at my list. My blossom. I got a lot of names on my blossom today. So is there anyone here that wants a card before I close? This has been so fun. I just love being here on Sundays. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for the collective to close. One more card just for fun. Oh, perfect. Okay, the 10 of Earth. And this is just a perfect card to pull for our final card, the prosperity card, prosperity, security, and tradition. Um, our inner being is with us from birth till throughout, right? I mean, again, I believe in life after death, I believe in life around life. You know, like life here on this planet for me and my life and my experiences is just part of a life that's bigger. But I believe like even the rocks have life because they're made out of cells, which all cells have vibration. So I just believe that everything keeps going and going and going. And so coming to trust my inner being as my guide as I do these readings here, you know, I mean, 5 years ago, I was not doing this. I was reading cards, you know, for other purposes or for myself, but to be doing readings for beautiful people, beings that are searching for fulfillment, right? Searching to be satisfied on this planet. That's what this card is all about. And so it's an affirmation to me that we're building a structure here on our Sunday meetings where we are gathering in a place where we can leave our worries behind. We can, for a moment, leave the burdens behind us, walk through this gateway, and live as if our desires are manifesting right now, because they are. The things that you're manifesting today are planted from seeds from before. Okay? And so we're always walking around with the potential to notice manifestations at any moment. My key right now is to check in with my inner being as much as possible and to allow my own inner being to be my guide and to be very direct and clear about what it is that I am wanting. Okay, so that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for being here. I really love doing our Sunday morning readings. And next week, we will be back at 10 o'clock Central Time and have a beautiful week. Check out my resources of the week, which were the astrology guy here on YouTube. These are all YouTube people. Astrology guy, juicy manifesting tips, of course, breakupcandy.com. That's not a YouTube channel. That is breakup recovery blog, breakupcandy.com. And Manifesting with Kimberly, I already said, and Shelley Bullard. Okay, go forth, prosper, have a fantastic week, manifest your little asses off, and we'll see you next time. Bye.